We come back on the air with breaking news in the impeachment trial of Donald J. Trump. Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat from West Virginia, on the Senate floor moments ago calling for a censure vote of President Trump for his conduct in Ukraine as an alternative to convicting and removing him from office. It's a big development. Betsy, I think this seems to take into mind that even Republicans now are saying out loud, but everyone has long said behind closed doors, which is that clearly the conduct is unacceptable and inappropriate and, as Marco Rubio said, impeachable.
I was just texting about this with a Senate Democratic aide who's been close to this whole process, who said that there's this appetite within the Democratic conference to have some sort of movement on the floor to affirmatively say that what Trump did was wrong, even in the wake of his essentially inevitable acquittal. So this kind of vote gives Democrats a chance to once again posit toward Republicans, some of whom have already said on the record that what Trump did was wrong. It gives them one more chance to actually vote, to say it in a place that's more meaningful than just potentially tweet out things that might help them defend the decision to acquit someone for activity that they themselves have said they think was inappropriate.
So 100-0?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on procedurally really how this can go forward. I'm not really clear whether that can happen before the vote on the articles of impeachment or shortly thereafter. I do think it gives a couple of Democrats and a handful of Republicans a way out, because they've already said, you know, what he did was wrong, and then the next move is to acquit him. It just doesn't make sense. And they're having a hard time explaining it. I mean, it can't be explained. Listen to Lamar Alexander. It can't be explained. So I think that this could provide a way for them to rebuke the behavior even as they vote for acquittal.
One other thing I can note is that Manchin is not a one-off right here. According to this person I've been in touch with, there are active, ongoing discussions involving multiple members of the Senate about having a censure vote come up.
Nick.
This is fascinating, right? It's a bluff calling. So a few of these senators put their heads over the wall, Rubio and others saying, well, it's really bad conduct. We can't impeach him for
let's
it.
name them. Let's name names, may as well. They're all
Senator
on the record
Alexander,
saying
Senator
it's inappropriate, but I'm going to acquit him. Portman, Rubio, Lamar. Who else? Anyone else?
And so if Manchin gets out there, he says, look, if you think it's so bad, here's an option short of impeachment. What say you now? And it's a real test of the conviction they have all recently adopted in public. And if they say no, it's more ammunition, I think, for Democrats in the fall that this is a party that does not want to hold their guy up for anything.
I mean, that's a great point, Nick. It's also a test of whether there's anything in their spines, because this isn't about removing him. This is simply about saying what you did was wrong. It wasn't perfect. Trump's public position is still that it's perfect. We're covering the breaking news that Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia has introduced the idea of censure for Donald Trump's conduct in Ukraine. It's on the heels of just a couple of Senate Republicans acknowledging and saying out loud on television shows that what Donald Trump did in Ukraine was wrong. We are joined by the Washington Post national political reporter Robert Costa. Robert Costa, what do you know?
Senator Manchin has been grappling with this decision for weeks about how to proceed. He announced on the Senate floor that he remains undecided on how he will vote on the two specific articles of impeachment, but he's now proposing his own censure resolution that he would like to see unveiled after the articles of impeachment are voted on.
Steve Schmidt.
Well, it's a very significant development. What it would be is a permanent rebuke by the United States Senate of the incumbent president of the United States for egregious conduct. And I think it puts a lot of Republican senators from Mitt Romney, Cory Gardner, Susan Collins on the spot here. Because now they'll be forced to, it was either a perfect phone call or, in fact, the conduct was appalling, and be able to register it as so. Falling short of the removal from office. Is when we were sitting here learning of this breaking news, the thought I had was a hospital drama, ER, the doctors around the patient. There's a pulse. There's a pulse, right? There's the Senate coming to life here and doing what it should do, because, again, there were very significant consequences for the rest of this presidency, for the next president, and the next 5 after that. Should the co-equal branch of government, the Congress, say, hey, no consequence here to egregious conduct, the likes of which I think exceeds anything that Richard Nixon did during Watergate.
Hey there. there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.